My family, or bloodline as they would call it, is infested with primeval beliefs that would make any sane person in today's day and age vomit blood. But unfortunately, it is what it is, and I cannot help but be part of this family. The good thing is that their sick mindset has come to bite them in the ass, and I love it. I just love how they've lost everything that they worked so hard for, all because they couldn't stand to see a woman, aka me, be more successful than her brother. My brother Michael, male 25, and I are twins. Oh, also, all the names in the story are fake because I don't want us to be identified. It's not difficult to identify our family, which is a very bad thing, especially on Reddit. My dad, male 55, and my mom, female 47, have always had a favorite, and it is my mother. They were actually not expecting twins, and they have always jokingly said that they had never planned for me, and I was the extra kid, meaning to say that if their first kid had been a son, they wouldn't have chosen to have a second one. So even my existence is essentially because of my brother. This is not to say that they don't love me. They do, and a lot. It's just they love Michael a lot more. And they don't hide the fact. It's plain as day for everyone to see. And the worst part is that I am the most loved girl in the family. All the other women are treated like trash, for the lack of a better word. The family has typical expectations from them. Know how to run the house, make good food, tolerate any and every bullshit that a guy throws at you, and basically just be a porcelain doll with no personality other than being someone's wife someday. I was the exception, and my parents had to face a lot of flack for it. None of my other women cousins has gone to college. They mostly pick up hobbies that lose $10,000 a month, hobbies that their fathers and husbands can afford, and that's about it. But I was bright. I am bright, and oh God, did I work hard. I slogged my ass off in school, then in college. I had a point to prove. I had to prove to everyone, not just my parents, that I was as smart as any guy in the family, and I have to admit that my parents supported me through it. For a lot of you, it might not really count as support because that's what parents are expected to do, but not in my family. Yet they stood up for me. They had to fight my grandparents and uncles in order to let me study. The entire family is weirdly enmeshed, so everyone has an opinion about everything, and those opinions need to be taken into account. All of them, except a few younger cousins, were against me wanting to study. I did so nonetheless and got into an Ivy League college. The thing with doing well is that once you do really well in the field or make your mark in a competitive space, others can't really ask you to not pursue it. I proved my merit and everyone had to shut the hell up. Michael, on the other hand, was just, I don't know, spoiled? Not in the sense that my parents spoiled him, they did, but they also spoiled me. He was spoiled in the sense that he knew he had his future set. And he believed that he would get it as a handout from Dad and that he wouldn't have to work hard for it. So he wasted his time, whiled away all the money and energy that he could because he was certain he was the heir to a huge business, and he also believed that someone else would run his business for him. I graduated with my MBA last year from another prestigious institution. The fact that I was going for a second degree enraged everyone in my house, but I didn't care. At this point, even my parents were of the opinion that maybe I should not go for a second degree, but I was adamant. Once I graduated, I came back home and started helping Dad run the business. I had always been interested and had that acumen, I would say, but I also knew that I would never be allowed to have a job, so the best bet for me was to work in and for the family. There was resistance to that as well, but nobody said much because Dad is getting old and he needs the help, which Michael was completely unwilling to offer. So fortunately, that worked in my favor. For a year, I worked there with Dad and I loved it. Dad was happy with me, and the department I was working in liked my work ethic too. I wasn't good right off the bat, but I was willing to learn and eager to train, and that showed. The blow happened 3 months ago. All this time, when I was busy slogging my ass off with Dad, Michael was out God knows where, doing God knows what. He would be out with friends, come home late, not be interested in work. He was a slob in all senses of the word, and it was really irritating to see him that way. I know that I had chosen to work and do this, but having someone take everything so casually was still really infuriating. And I knew it bothered Mom and Dad as well, even though they didn't or couldn't say anything about it. 3 months ago, Mom and Dad hosted a party and the entire family was invited. It was awkward for me, because despite my performance, they still did not approve of me being a part of a man's world. The only people other than my dad who were happy with what I was doing were my maternal grandparents, Grandpa and Nona. They couldn't stop beaming with pride and took a lot of interest in the work I did. I spent most of my time with them in the wedding. Michael, being the asshole that he is, arrived fashionably late, and none of us knew, not even him, that the party was actually in his honor. Once he had come and sobered up a little bit, Dad made the announcement. He was handing over the company to Michael. The transfer of power would happen gradually, but he was going to give everything to him. To say that I was devastated would be an understatement. I know that I was foolish to hope, but I had felt that since I was the one working, since I was the one who had the merit, it should have been me. He should have given the estate to me rather than a brat who didn't even know what we did. And if he didn't, he could at least give me something. It felt like a huge slap on my face, and I think it showed because Nona came over to me after a while to hug me. I had to pretend that everything was fine and that I hadn't expected anything anyway, which in all honesty, I shouldn't have. I knew what my family was like, and I should have known that they would not give me anything. Till this point, I was sad. Something happened after the party that made me furious. Once the guests had left, Dad came to me and said that he had done this in order to instill some responsibility in Michael. But he knew that at this point, Michael wasn't competent enough. He also wasn't driven and didn't really care, so Dad was worried that he would screw up monumentally. I scoffed internally, because if you know all this, why would you choose to endanger your company and estate like that? That was when the catch came, and I felt betrayed like never before. Dad said that he wanted me to be around him and help him learn the ropes of it all. Basically be his nanny or personal secretary or whatever the hell that was supposed to mean. He said that was essentially why he had allowed me to work, so that he could give the company over to Michael, but still have someone responsible running it or helping him run it. I was furious. All of last year I thought that he had seen potential in me, but it was just nanny training for me. He knew that Michael was no good, and yet he chose him to take over. On paper, everything was Michael's. Everything would be his. But I had to be the one running it, and all of this only because I am a woman. I was livid. I told him point blank that I would be doing no such thing. I don't think he had anticipated that I would say no to it. So he looked really shocked, but I said that I was done. I didn't really fight or yell much because I knew that there was no point in doing that. He would never understand me, and I didn't want to make him understand either. I felt horribly betrayed, and I just didn't want to look at his face anymore. I started packing my things right in front of him. I think that is when the severity of the situation hit him. He came running behind me, involving Mom and Michael. To absolutely no one's surprise, Michael was stoned and passed out on the sofa. Mom and Dad kept saying that I didn't have to take rash decisions and whatnot, but by that point I had completely tuned them out. I was very busy packing. Within an hour, I had all my important stuff packed and went straight to Grandpa and Nona's place, and I broke down. I sobbed and sobbed, and the next few days were a blur. Mom and Dad tried to get me back, but I was adamant. My grandpa was furious with them for doing what they did. When they came to take me back, Grandpa yelled at them and did not mince words. He said that he was ashamed of both of them because they were exploiting my caliber for their good-for-nothing son. Mom and Dad tried to defend themselves, but Grandpa was having none of it. I haven't spoken to my parents since then and now live with Grandpa and Nona. They had invested really well in a few properties around town, and Grandpa said that he wants me to look after them and take over once he's gone. He's essentially saying that his entire estate will come to me. He had planned to divide it into 2 parts earlier, one for Michael, one for me, but now it's all coming to me. He's leaving a house for Mom and has no other kids, so there's that. I think both my parents know that I will be the sole heir to Grandpa's estate because even though I am no contact with them, they're still in touch with each other. Things came to a head last week and I have been consistently badgered since then. Nona asked me to talk to Mom urgently. I knew it was something serious that required immediate attention because Nona is the last person who would ask me to mend bridges or be forgiving. She's the kind of person who believes in holding grudges till the end of time. I was reluctant but knew it was important, so I called Mom, and to be honest, I still can't describe what I felt when I heard what Mom had to say. Part of me, a teeny tiny part, felt sad that she was going through something like this. The other part was gloating, and I don't think I hid my expressions very well because Nona smirked when she saw me. She was there in the room while I was talking to Mom. I won't go into a lot of unnecessary details. Mom made a little small talk that I wasn't really interested in. There hasn't been any contact with either her or Dad since I had come to Grandpa's place. I asked her to cut out the drama and tell me why she had specifically asked for me. She said that Dad missed me and wanted me back home. I told her I wasn't coming back home to babysit Michael and teach him how to be a good businessman. That was on Dad. I wasn't going to shoulder his responsibility. And that's when Mom broke down crying. They were actual sobs, and she was heaving on the phone, so it wasn't easy to understand what she was trying to say. But the details I could make out were enough to paint a picture. Apparently Michael is a slob, as if that should come as a surprise. He has absolutely no business acumen, in the words of my mother, and in the last 3 months he has taken decisions that have just plummeted the company's worth to the pits of hell. He has hired his stoner friends in key positions, and they are all his advisory board or some shit of that sort. And the worst, or rather the best part, is that none of them know shit about running a business. Dad has been begging him to see sense, getting him to come to meetings, but he just doesn't listen. When he hired his friends, Dad and some of the old employees were dead against it. But he didn't listen to anyone. I really don't get how Mom and Dad had not anticipated this, in all honesty. Michael has always been this way, and this trait of his has gotten worse in the last couple of years. He cannot hear no for an answer. He never thinks about consequences because he hasn't had to face any. And the only opinions he had any regard for were those of his friends. And even though they might be good friends, they are dumb assholes, so I don't expect either wisdom or intellect from them. So now the business is in ruins. Dad is finally fed up with Michael and is threatening to kick him out, and the losses they are facing are monumental. By the time she had done with this backstory between sobs, I was getting bored. I didn't understand how this was my problem. I asked her why she was telling me all this, and she had the nerve to tell me that I had to step in and take them out of this mess. She didn't even ask for help. She was practically ordering me around. I laughed in her face and told her that they had made their bed. They were welcome to lay in it because I wasn't going to help them, and then disconnected the call. Nona and I had a good laugh over it because Nona wanted me to hear it straight from the horse's mouth. She's a petty queen, and I love it. However, I have been getting a barrage of texts from Dad as well. Dad wants me to come back and help him rebuild the company. Mom wants me to first help Michael out and give him handouts because Dad is going to kick him out by the end of the week. Their entitlement is ridiculous. Both of them want me to step up for different things and miraculously solve all that has gone wrong. I have told both of them that I am not going to help them out and that they have invited this upon themselves. My mom called me a vindictive bitch and said she had raised me better than to see my own brothers starve. I'm not going to lie, that stung a bit. I have been keeping strong and trying to ward off attempts by them to manipulate or emotionally blackmail me into doing what they want me to do. It's going to be tough, but I need to take a stand for myself. I don't respond to them, and things are tight right now. Dad is still behaving in a civil way, and it is mostly him that I'm worried about. I know that if I do end up caving in, it's going to be because of him and no one else. I want to help him, but at the same time, I don't want to help him, and now I don't know what I'm going to do. Update. I had not expected a lot of people to read the post, and I could see that you were invested in the story, so here is more drama for you. I had hoped it wouldn't come to this, but it has. And you guys should know. Michael came to Nona and Grandpa a couple of days ago. He looked in really bad shape, so they took him in. He was hammered, as was expected, and both of them are disgusted with him. But that's a conversation for another time. He slept for an entire day, and when he got up, things got interesting. He was kicked out by Dad, and Dad has cancelled all his credit cards. So as of now, he is flat broke. All those friends whose ethics he vouched for, yeah, all of them have vanished. 2 of them let him stay, taking turns with each other, but I guess they got sick of him too because he was thrown out instantly or within a couple of days at max. We asked him where he stayed, and he said that at first he crashed at Yusuf's place. Yusuf and his girlfriend lived together, so he stayed on the sofa. But some shit went down and he was thrown out of the house. He said that Yusuf's girlfriend had a problem with him and that she was always a prude anyway. But I can't help sympathize with the girl. He might be able to fool a lot of people, but not me. I know him. After getting kicked out by Yusuf, he went to Tim's place, who lives in a trailer, by the way. Things were okay with Tim too, but Tim soon realized that Michael wasn't the loaded guy anymore. So the friendship very conveniently went south right about that time, and now Michael has nowhere to go. He said that all this while he had been trying to get in touch with Dad to at least get his cards started again. But there has been no response yet. Mom still manages to send him some money, which he uses for immediate needs like food and stuff, but that's about it. Dad doesn't know Mom has been giving him money, and he begged us not to tell Dad because then that money is going to stop coming in too. Once he was done with this little tale of woe, he didn't hesitate before adding a snarky comment about me being self-involved. Thankfully, Grandpa shut that down immediately and said that if Michael had to cuss me out, he could do so on the street. He realized that his little pity parties won't get any sympathy here, so that shut him up real quick. This was a few days ago, and today Grandpa has given him the ultimatum. He told Michael that if he wanted to continue staying here, he had to get a job. They won't charge him rent, but he would be expected to contribute a little towards utilities. It looked like someone had shot Michael in the head. He kept looking here and there helplessly, presumably waiting for one of us to jump in and say that we were joking, but that didn't happen. Michael insisted that he had hoped I would actually fill in for him at the office and talk to Dad about letting things go back to normal, so he could get a place to live, or rather hide in the meanwhile. Nona laughed at him and said he wasn't going to be coddled, and if that was what he was expecting, he was at the wrong house. He took me aside and begged me to help him out, give him money, and then came the catch. He slipped up and revealed what he was really after: their estate. He was hoping that, given his condition and situation, I would give him half of Grandpa's estate, as was originally planned. I told him there was no way in hell that it was happening. He tried to play the twin card, and I couldn't help but laugh. I said it was actually hilarious how suddenly we were besties now, and that I had to remember that we shared blood when I was the one with money and resources. If he really believed in 50-50, why didn't he say so when Dad handed everything over to him on a platter and I was left with nothing? He said I was being an idiot and that he had always meant to give me half of it. I said I didn't care about his intentions. The fact of the matter is, he did not extend the same generosity to me when I was wronged, so he had no right to demand it from me. We argued for a while, but he soon realized that we weren't going to let him off the hook like Mom had. He actually had a very good deal, if you ask me, but of course, for a person who hasn't worked a single day in his life, this arrangement would have been a nightmare. But as things stand, Michael has been told categorically that if he doesn't get a job and get his act together, he is going to be kicked out of this house as well. And this is his last hope. There is no other place that will welcome him or deal with his tantrums. This is the only deal he has, and he has absolutely no bargaining power whatsoever. He has agreed, although reluctantly, to start looking for a job. I'm not very optimistic, but this seems to be the first time he's being asked to get his act together, so it might as well lead to something good. I'll keep on updating in case something happens, which I'm sure it will. Update 2. This is a minor update, but a good one. So I thought I should inform Reddit, which has been crazy invested in the story, lol. Michael got a job. It isn't something fancy, but at least it's something and it pays decently. I can't really say what the job is, but it's over minimum wage and not shady, so that's a win. However, Mom is horrified that her golden boy has been reduced to doing something menial. She's been on our asses the entire time, yelling at us to stop being cruel to him. Dad is still not talking to Michael, so we have no way of knowing what his thoughts are on the matter. As for Michael, he's pissy about the fact that he has to do what he's doing, but he knows at this point in time that this is the only option available to him. So he's got to suck it up, unfortunately. I hope he continues to go to work and his enthusiasm doesn't fizzle out, because Grandpa and Nonna are at the end of their rope with him anyway. Hopefully he will finally become an adult. Update 3. This will be my final update because, frankly, I have nothing more to say. Things have gotten worse to the point of no return. Michael stole money from Nona. He worked his job for a little over a month and then stole money and ran away. We should have seen the signs. He hated going to work and was never on time. There used to be an entire drama every morning before he had to leave work. I should have known that he wasn't going to stay around in that job for long, and I should have guessed that he would pull something like this because he needed the money. That's all he ever wants. And that's what he thinks he's entitled to without working a single minute in his life. So he stole from his own Nona, and he didn't just steal money, he stole a necklace that has been in the family for generations. It's disgusting and shameful what has become of him. I never thought it would come down to this. I don't think anyone had. But now he is what he is, and it's set in stone. Nona wanted to press charges, but Mom and Dad begged her not to. They're telling us they'll give us the money, but we all know that's bullshit. With the way the business is, they're not going to have enough to save, let alone reimburse a necklace worth that much. Moreover, it isn't just about the money. That piece of jewelry was a family heirloom. It had sentimental value and is probably sitting in some pawn shop for all I know. Suddenly, Dad has come back into the picture and has begun defending, advocating for Michael. I have a strong feeling it was Mom that gave him the idea to steal. He didn't like his job, we knew that, but that was his one chance to change. But he is now a thief, and Grandpa and Nonna are distraught. I have asked them to go ahead and file a report, but they are reluctant. Mom and Dad literally got on their knees begging them to forgive him. I wouldn't have, but I can't say that for them. It's just sad how things have turned out for the family. Word has gotten across to other members of the family, and the reactions are mixed. Some of them are asking us to deny the story to preserve the reputation of the family, while others are boycotting Mom and Dad and siding with us. Michael, for his part, is in Utah. Mom and Dad know it, so he isn't absconding as such. But yeah, they have ensured yet again that Michael will not face the consequences of his actions. I have no respect for my parents anymore, and I have gone completely no contact, as have Nonna and Grandpa. They are heartbroken about the entire situation. But they say there isn't much they can do. I hope I could do something to help them, file the complaint myself, but I know they would not appreciate it. It's horrible how they were the ones to extend a helping hand, and they are the ones that got screwed over. Karma will come for Michael and my parents, and when it does, it will be brutal. I can't wait for that day, and I hope they know exactly why life punished them. In the meantime, I'm happy. I am living with Nonna and Grandpa, and I'm finally getting the appreciation and autonomy I deserve. The properties Grandpa and Nonna invested in are thriving under my care. I'm finally in control of something meaningful and am being recognized for my hard work, intelligence, and dedication. The irony is delicious. All this time, my family doubted me because I was a woman, and now I'm not only surviving but thriving while Michael flounders. I have learned a lot about patience, resilience, and valuing myself. And nothing feels better than knowing that those who doubted me will see me succeed without any of their interference. So yes, life is far from perfect. There's still drama, and Michael is a disaster, and my parents are manipulative. But I am no longer a pawn in anyone's game. I'm free. I'm competent, and I am taking charge of my destiny. I am finally where I belong, with people who respect me and my abilities, and honestly, I wouldn't trade this for anything. I've learned that sometimes the best revenge is living well and letting karma handle the rest. Stay tuned for more stories from Our Girl Relationships.